Hello and welcome back to another video. With a free day in Osaka the other day, there were several stations I wanted to go to. Chief amongst them were Shionbashi Station, Kizugawa Station, and Fukushima Station. So, setting off from my hotel at 7 o'clock for a full day of photography, I went to precisely none of them. Let me explain. Every time I go to Osaka, I always like to take a ride on the Hankyu trains. When I lived in Mino, north of Osaka City, many years ago, they were the way to get to the bright lights of the city centre. And even now, the maroon trains with their green moquette still hold a very fond place in my heart. So a trip on a Hankyu train somewhere, even just a one-stop hop, was definitely on my list for the day. However, when I noticed that there was a day-long go-anywhere ticket for Hankyu trains, my eyes were drawn to Myoken-Guchi, a station along a very long and rural-looking branch. I bought the ticket and jumped on the express towards Takarazuka. I can't be completely certain because actually I was asleep on the train, but about 30 minutes took me to Kawanishi Noseden, which is a main stop on the Takarazuka line. From this station, there's a branch to Nisei Chuo and Myoken-Guchi. This branch is the Noseden Tetsu Line, or Noseden for short. Noseden is a subsidiary of the Hankyu Corporation, which is why the trains are the same rich maroon as the Hankyu trains themselves. However, the line feels subtly different. Part of the reason for this, I'd say, is that the Hankyu lines are in the main commuter lines, whereas the Noseden Line, although with a frequency befitting a commuter line, feels much more rural and local. trains from Kawanishi Noseden go to Nisei Chuo. To get to Myoken-Guchi, which is where I wanted to go, it's necessary to change at Yamashita Station, almost at the end of the line. This station is unusual in that it's actually on the junction of the line to Nisei Chuo and the branch to Myoken-Guchi. Or actually, maybe that should be the other way round. In any case, the middle platform is a V shape, sandwiched between the two lines. The trains to Nisei Chuo are 4-carriage trains, which in a way is quite short, given that this is still fairly close to Osaka. However, most of the trains to Myoken-Guchi are only 2 carriages long. One really nice touch about the Noseden trains is that the blinds have rural scenes on them. There are only 4 stations along the line from Yamashita to Myoken-Guchi, and at the 3 intermediate stops, there were few passengers, if any. Still, the train was fairly busy, with people travelling to Myoken-Guchi. From Myoken-Guchi, the last stop on the branch, it's only a short walk or a bus ride to a cable railway up the side of Myoken-san, a mountain of some 660 meters in height. I hadn't intended to go up the mountain, actually, but the weather was so beautiful, and when I realized that my ticket covered the cable railway as well as the normal railway, I didn't hesitate. The cable railway takes about 5 minutes to trundle its way up the mountain and obviously back down the mountain. It was a fine journey, although some views would have been nice, I suppose. Anyway, I was lucky enough to get the back seat on both the up and down journeys, so I'll make a separate video of the ride. Having been up the cable railway and back down the cable railway, rather like the Grand Old Duke of York, I suppose, I went back to Myoken-Guchi Station. The station is a typical one you'd find at the end of a branch line up into the hills, primarily for tourists. There are, inevitably, a few shops, maybe a cafe or two, around the little square in front of the station. And perhaps there are sometimes some information boards about hiking trails and so on. Unfortunately, these stations and the branch lines they're on are becoming fewer and fewer in number as the railway network is pared slowly but inexorably back. However, it was good to see that this line still seems to be in good health. As I said earlier, there are trains every 10 minutes along the line, which is certainly not what you'd normally expect from a rural branch line. In actual fact, even from where I live to the centre of Hiroshima, the trains aren't that frequent for most of the day. Anyway, time was pressing on, and I was conscious of the fact that I needed to get back to Hiroshima before midnight. So, somewhat reluctantly I suppose, I bade farewell to Myoken-Guchi and started the journey back. I stopped off at Yamashita and took a few more videos and photographs, and then headed back towards Osaka. After the sweltering heat of the afternoon, no sooner had I sat down in the wonderful air conditioning than I was asleep. And what's more, from the glares I got from the surrounding passengers when I finally woke up several stations later, I'd say I'd been snoring. I hadn't intended, I have to say, to pay a visit to Noseden today. And in doing so, I missed out on visiting the 3 stations that I'd really wanted to visit. However, they can be done the next time I go to Osaka, which I'm sure won't be that far in the future. And I really do have to say that I'm glad I paid a visit to Noseden today. It's a quirky little line, I think. Modern, but at the same time old-fashioned. Rural, but at the same time run with something like an inner-city commuter service frequency. And I really did enjoy it much more than I'd expected that I would. I'm sure I'll be back sometime in the not too distant future. Although hopefully next time when the weather is less like a sauna. I'd certainly like to visit in autumn. I think the red leaves would be quite impressive. And I have a feeling that the cherry blossom along the line would also be very beautiful. So that's at least 2 more chances to visit. I'd certainly have no hesitation in recommending Noseden as the place to visit for a day, half a day, if you're in the Osaka area. It really is a wonderful little railway line.
危険ですから黄色い点字ブロックの内側にお下がりください。
Anyway, I think that's about it for this time. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you soon. Bye for now.